why Gen Z gave up on kids. Now, me personally, I wouldn't say I gave up on kids. You feel me? I do want a miniature version of myself roaming the world one day. You know what I'm saying? You know, my own seed out there. You know what I'm saying? But I can see why a lot of other Gen Z don't want kids. Obviously, it's because of inflation and all the money shit that's going on. So, you know, it's understandable. But I'm not going to yap you guys' ears off. Let's get straight to the video.
Through elementary school to high school and having your typical good and bad experiences. Good experiences being meeting good friends you may have for life, and bad experiences being, I don't know, getting your head dunked and swirled in a toilet. I refuse to believe this has ever happened in real life. Like, I don't know where shows came up with this trope.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If some shit like that ever happened to me, bro, I'm what? I'm not gonna lie to you. If that shit ever happened to me in high school, I'm crashing out bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. At this point, I'm coming for somebody. Like, I'm about to what? I'm about to shit.
High school sweetheart.
Well, I don't even know what I'm about to do.
Going through college and having your wild phases. Then after graduating, having a couple more years before settling down, marrying, and having kids. Universally through the world, I feel like this is the typical path people see of how it goes. And with Gen Z, it's becoming more and more common for people to not want this path. According to the stats, almost 1 in 3 Gen Z and millennials are saying they won't have kids at all. Not even talking about kids, most aren't even trying to get into a relationship. Most dudes are either chronic gooners and gave up on love after their middle school breakup. And most girls are either insane femcels on Twitter saying men should have to earn the right to have freedom.
Every guy should start in jail and have to work his way out.
Absolutely.
I think
love that idea.
Nigga, what? What are we talking about, bro? Imagine like coming across some girls like this, bro. You come across some girl like this and she just starts spouting shit like this. You can't tell me you wouldn't think something's wrong with them. This is outrageous. Like, this is crazy shit. You think a dude should start off in jail and work his way up into the society that was built by men for you to live in? That's crazy.
Because it's like you need to earn your place out here.
You do.
In my opinion.
You do. And it should be treated as if they're on probation for a while. Like, one strike, you're back.
Yeah, even when they're out. Yeah, you're right.
Now, I'm not going to lie. We're going to have to start putting some of the girls that do this shit, we're going to have to start putting them on the same level of the same level as the incels. Bro, why am I stuttering bad, bro? But the same level of the incels. The incels, they get their reputation for the bullshit they do. We got to put them on the same level, bro. I'm sorry. The shit's just weird. I'm going to be honest. It's weird shit.
Slave masters had that type of idea going on. At least they're being nicer, I guess. They're saying they'll free us. Anyways, I'm so glad of hearing the stats. It's not just me, and y'all are alone too. We are gonna be single the rest of our lives and have zero chance of a relationship. On 3, Gen Z, who's with me? 1, 2, 3.
It's just you, buddy.
Nobody did. Yeah, so I thought it would be pretty interesting to talk about why it's become how it is for Gen Z. You know, people always talking about how birth rates are dropping drastically. And if you think of it, it's kind of hard to find someone nowadays that has kids in their early, mid, or late 20s. Like, out of all people I've met in my life, I genuinely only know 2 people in my life that are...
Nah, see, me personally, like, most of the people that I went to school with, they got kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably because of the area I went to school in. But hey, you feel me? They're popping children left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see it all over Instagram. Same motherfuckers I followed, they have kids. You know, I went unscathed. You know what I'm saying? I ain't touch nobody that had no kids. I ain't touch nobody. I was celibate. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers was not doing nothing. These motherfuckers was having kids left and right. I'm lying. I wasn't celibate. But 2020, for sure. 2020, for sure. And then, you know, some stuff happened down the line. If you know, you know.
Gen Z and have kids.
You know,
and this trend is exactly following how it was for millennials. Crazy to think how the older generations was just popping out kids as soon as they hit 18. Nowadays, if I see an 18-year-old saying they're gonna have a kid, all I'm thinking of is, man, his life is absolutely bro. This is the most obvious
Nah,
one,
for
but
real.
one of the main reasons is the cost of living has been absolutely fried the past couple of years. I know. I talk about it a lot and all the time, but man, how can I not? I mean, literally no one even has an ounce of hope. If you ask Gen Z what their hope is for the future, all they're gonna think of is how the cost of living is absolutely cooked and it's only gonna get worse. AI and clankers are gonna take like 80% of the jobs we have, and the US is gonna go into civil war over these dumbass politicians. The cost of living would be one thing if it was just happening in 1 or 2 countries, but the fact
I know I'm pausing too much and all, but look, I just gotta say something. Do y'all really think a civil war is gonna happen? Like, am I tripping? Do y'all think a civil war will happen? Like, I don't know. Like, lately we have been seeing crash outs and stuff happen from other countries, and you know, some countries, I mean, some states over here in America, yeah. But like, is it really that bad? Like, is that crazy? Like, it's about to be a civil war. I'm kind of leaning. I'm leaning more towards probably. I don't know. Depends.
that is happening in
Crazy out
multiple
here.
countries at the same time, man, just pass me the cigarette already. Us Americans always focus on our house prices and how they are, which is true. But I feel
What
a
the
little more
fuck?
patriotic.
No, hold on. The fuck is this? Almost two mil for this small ass. Yo, 1 bed, 2 bath. What are we talking about? California, this is how y'all living? 832 square feet. Yo, nah, you lost me, buddy. I would never move to California. If that's the case, bro, almost 2 milli for this? Yeah, hell nah, boy.
Us Americans always focus on our house prices and how they are, which is true. But I feel a little more patriotic when I look at ours compared to the UK and Canada. This is a 650,000 pound house, or $879,000.
Man, hell nah, nigga. What is this trap house, bro? Bro, this is a trap house, man. These stingy ass, but this shit is like horrendous, my nigga. What the fuck? This shit's ass. It's better than the one in California for sure. You feel me? It look like a bigger house. Obviously, bigger does mean better, and everything's bigger in Texas, as they say. No, I'm tripping. But anyways, look. That's not Texas. But this house is bigger. I don't know why I said that shit, bro. But this house is definitely bigger than than the other house. So it kind of makes it a little bit better, more room, more square feet, whatever. You never know. That's a little bit way better. But 2 milli for that little small bullshit they had going on just prior to this one. Yeah, nah. Ain't no way I'm paying that much money for no small ass house like that, bro. Like a portable
5
house.
bedrooms and 1 bathroom is diabolical. I know the bathroom looks like Chernobyl every day. And in Canada, this is a
Never mind.
$1.6 million house. No wonder Drake left y'all years ago. I wouldn't want to be there either. And even though I think money is obviously a factor to things like the house, I think there are people in Gen Z and millennials that can afford things like houses with a mortgage. But one of the main reasons they won't do it is because if they do get that typical family experience of getting a house on mortgage and having kids, they know they're going to be stuck paying it for the next 30 years, probably barely scraping by. And in the act of doing that, the kids are gonna get neglected in some way. I know with my experience growing up in that typical type of suburb area, all of the kids' parents
I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of true. That is true. Hold on. I gotta hear that again just cause like it made me feel a certain type of way.
next 30 years probably barely scraping by. And in the act of doing that, the kids are gonna get neglected in some way. I know with my experience,
That's definitely true, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, definitely true. With your parents, the only thing they can do is work, and focus about everything else but what's going on with their kids internally, like in their head, or what's going on with them, or spending family time, or trying to do things. Like, it does get to a point, you know what I'm saying? It becomes a lot. I don't know. You start feeling neglected in some way.
experience growing up in that typical type of suburb area. All of the kids' parents in the neighborhood, including mine, were barely home. We would be out when kids actually went outside late, and it would be 9, and some of them were still not back. Because on top of balancing the bills they had to pay, they also had to balance their kids' expenses as well, which ended up affecting younger generations' mental health and is a part of why it's such a problem now. With younger generations nowadays, we don't want to put that same type of burden on our kids. Every generation tries to improve how they were parented and change it. And I don't know about y'all, but I actually want to be able to do things with my kids. Go to Disneyland and all the fun vacation places. But if I gotta sit there balancing in this economy a $500K mortgage of a home that's the equivalent size of a shack, as well as taking care of my kids' expenses, I know it would be too much for me. Which is why a lot of Gen Z is even letting go of the thought of having kids. Why would you want to bring kids into a scenario where it's potentially gonna be chaotic? There's all different types of wars going on. You don't know what's gonna happen economically in the next years. It's also the reason why the age of having kids has been being pushed up a lot. There's a lot of women now who are having kids in their mid-30s to early 40s, which happened less in the past because it was kind of shamed by society. The shaming has gotten better in a lot of countries, but there is those places where it's still like a very bad thing to do. I find that so weird. Like, I would never sit there and judge someone for having kids later in life. It's one thing if you're bringing up potential fertility concerns.
No, because look, I'm be honest, like, my fault again. I don't mean to be pausing, but link to original video will be in the description down below. And if you're not already followed, you feel me, hit that. I mean, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Follow the same thing. But yeah, like, now there's more of an excuse. It's more accepted because not only, you feel me, is the mortgage and everything high. Like, you feel me? Like, you have to be prepared to bring a child into the world and have money and be able to take care of that child and stuff like that. And if you can't do that, I mean, yeah, you're going to wait till a later date. But back then, because stuff was so affordable, you know, and stuff like that, this is probably how I'm thinking. Because when things were affordable, there was kind of no reason for you to not have any kids or start your life because, you feel me, you can afford pretty much anything. You can have kids. There's no way. And if you're not having kids or getting married, it's kind of looked at as, you know, like, why hasn't nobody wanted to sweep you off your feet yet? Like, propose to you anything? You know, that's probably what it's looked at as back then. Now, there's more of an excuse. There's more.
But a doctor would tell you if you're fine or not before anyways. If I did want kids also and wanted to pay for a house, I'd probably wait until at least 70% of it's paid off. Which older generations did not do. They kind of just hopped into a house and popped out some kids. Then hoped and prayed they could pay off the house eventually. Another thing is younger generations are valuing their freedom way more than other generations in the past. You'll see a typical boomer be like, when I was your age, I already had 5 kids with another one coming. What's the holdup, son? Yeah, the holdup is we actually want free time in our life and not have our life dedicated to kids fully. Society back then was literally just shaped on you gotta have kids or else you won't reach your full happiness. And kids are amazing things in life. I think I gotta say that anyways because I am the child of my parents. Some people get surprised though when I tell them I'm not even thinking of having kids in my 20s and I'm probably gonna do it mid to late 30s. It should have never been a thing in the past where people found you weird or strange if you didn't have any. Never in my life when I was younger and I saw a family member who didn't have kids did I think they were strange. And now that I'm grown, I find it even more weird when a grown-ass adult thinks that. Social media was the true changer of how Gen Z and millennials approached the way they wanted kids. Before social media, people still went on vacations and traveled the world, but it's given us a brand new light on things you didn't even know existed in your own city. Like, you could go on TikTok and find some miscellaneous random fun thing in your city you never heard of before to do. I wouldn't know about a bunch of the little fun things that were going on in my city without the internet. And now because Gen Z and millennials aren't having enough kids,
Me either.
Birth rates are plummeting, all the governments around the world are panicking what to do now. You got countries like Japan and South Korea pouring billions into fixing it only to have it get worse. Trump signed a law giving every baby born in America $1,000.
I know, but that's like, y'all trying to fix something that y'all created. Y'all trying to fix something that y'all made. Y'all did this to us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was greedy enough to put all the money in y'all pockets, and now when y'all really need us because there's not going to be anybody to take care of your jobs and do what you wanted to do and do this and do that, there's probably not going to be a next generation. Y'all killed that newer generation spirit by doing what you guys did. Y'all demolished the spirit, actually. Y'all put a lot of guys under. Y'all started promoting. Y'all started getting certain women to promote bad activities and all this other stuff niggas are promoting bad activities and stuff like that and whatever. I feel like this was a secret plan. I'm not gonna cap. I'm probably just talking about my community. Nah, I'm not. Because OnlyFans and all this other stuff. Yeah, all of this stuff got promoted. This movement, I feel like, was started by the government. I'm gonna be honest. I might be thinking too deep, but I don't care, bro. This shit was started by the government.
Dollar investment account. You know, I'll give the guy that one, but is that money gonna even be worth anything in like 18 years?
Hell
if inflation keeps up, we're gonna be paying $200 for a Big Mac at McDonald's by the 2040s. That's if we don't have a civil war with the clankers by then. No matter how much money the government gives to help with child costs, I think the lifestyle trend is stronger than that, and it won't just fizzle out. Unless the government starts paying for like 70 to 80% of people's child expenses. It's now embedded in our society with younger generations where people are simply valuing their freedom more. You can see the stats. Even in places where the cost of living is decent to good, they have less kids because to people it's no longer their forefront goal in life. Even in countries right now where the birth rate may be booming, like for a lot of the African countries, they're getting developed really fast, and as soon as it's developed to the point where people don't really feel a need as much, it's gonna drop. Crazy though how the governments only now care when people have been telling them for years they can't afford things. A lot of people say the only reason why the government even cares that the birth rate is declining is because they'll have less workers, and with less workers, they get paid less and make less money. But when you ask them to put some things in law to help us, they go, all right, I hear you. So you know what? $50 trillion to Israel. The hilarious thing is hearing older generations talk about how we don't work enough and we're lazy. Most of y'all already know it took them half the time to be able to afford a house working a job like us. But what's really crazy and what they don't want to acknowledge is how insane the billionaires were taxed back then. From 1940 in America to 1960, the highest income tax rate was 90%. No wonder it only took them 2 years to get a house. Y'all was basically getting them handed to you. Most of the ultra wealthy people back then didn't pay that full percentage, but they still paid a lot more than what happens today. Today, the richest out there, you know, got like 500 different loopholes where they can pay $0 in taxes. I promise you, if they change the laws to be like this again, you would see the birth rate at least double. Another thing that plays a factor into it is that younger generations aren't as pressured as much into having kids. Yeah, it still happens, but the way they did it back then, it was like you were disrespecting the family if you chose not to have kids. So because of my decision in life that I personally made, you're now mad? I never understood this for real. Why don't you go have another kid or something? For now, they're staying in the sack. You still got content creators like it's the 70s blaming people for not choosing to have kids.
If you're not having kids, you're selfish. You should be having kids, sharing your knowledge, your resources, everything you have to give with the next generation. Kids are literally the best thing that is going to happen to you. You should start earlier than you think that you are ready. Having kids will actually make
I'm making a video right now.
You ready, because when you have that forcing function in your life of kids, you'll do whatever it takes for these little human beings.
People that don't want to have kids are selfish. Point blank. That's the only reason you don't want to have kids, right? But here's the thing. It's okay to be selfish, right?
These people have completely lost what the definition of selfish is. Just searching up the Google definition, it says lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. So how the f can you be selfish for something that doesn't even exist right now? That's like someone saying I'm selfish for not donating the money right now that I may be making in the future. Like, I'm still homeless. I haven't made the money yet. To me, it would be way more selfish to have a kid I know I'm not gonna fully be there for and put them through problems, instead of just not having the kid at all. With people that say this that want everyone to reproduce in the world, are you going to be taking care of their kids if they're not up to the task? Because if you're not, then shut the f up. Literally everyone in the world can't reproduce because we would be way too overpopulated. And the last thing that changed younger generations is the amount of communities we have. Back then, you had your typical family community and neighborhood with you, but it still didn't feel like enough. You felt like you needed that extra push. With us and social media, there is unlimited communities out there you can be a part of. You can have a community so niche it only has 1,000 people a part of it. For us now, since we're so used to the internet, that's absolutely nothing in size of a community. When you physically think of it though, that's like 10 times bigger than the typical neighborhood community. So now imagine 1 million or 10 million, and you could be a part of multiple of those communities at a time. It's almost impossible to not find a community you could fit in with online. Anyways, that's gonna be it though. Let me know your reproduction plans, guys, or if you have kids now. Make sure your kids watch Tom Energy for educational.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I agree. You feel me? Until they decide they want to bring I'm talking about all this expenses for things down, like everything down, don't expect people to be having kids, bro. That's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna cap, like I do want kids one day, but it's just like anytime soon, nah, that's not gonna happen. You feel me? Like things are too expensive. And I'm not about to sit here and do that knowing that you feel me, everything's expensive. You feel me? But that being said, man, that's the end of the video. If y'all like the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification button if y'all want to stay updated on the next video. Let me know what y'all think in the description down below. I mean, in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys next time.